Hi everyone, this is Michael with the general reading for Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, or anyone cross-watching for someone who has those placements. All are welcome here. Hello there. I do hope that this video is finding you well. I do apologize that these are coming out a bit late. I have just been pretty inundated with personal readings, and frankly, I've just felt pretty depleted, and I don't feel like it's authentic for me to be putting out this content if I'm not actually connecting. I do appreciate everyone's patience and understanding with me. Thank you so much. I really feel so blessed to just have all of these supportive people in my life and people who are supporting these messages. It's absolutely a gift to be able to provide this for you. And thank you especially for those of you who are still waiting on a personal reading. I promise I am getting to you. You have not been forgotten about. Before we actually begin the reading, I do like to start off these videos by doing an astrology report. If someone would like to leave a timestamp down below, I will pin that in the comment section so you can just go straight ahead to the actual tarot reading. But I do feel like the astrology report can be pretty helpful. It can give a sense of what the month is overall for everybody in your life, not just yourself. It can also help help you figure out what might be coming and when. It's a good sense of timing for things. And, you know, Pisces, you have a very interesting month. I'm a Virgo, so we're actually opposite signs. I love Pisces, which is kind of it's not always the case with opposite signs, but I really do feel like Virgos and Pisces tend to get along. I think we live in kind of a state of surrender that a lot of other signs don't live in, albeit in very different ways. We're still, you know, kind of a mirror for each other. And that's very interesting because in Virgo season, a lot of what is coming up for you is actually in your relationships right now, because Virgo is your opposite sign. It's your 7th house, especially for those of you who are Pisces rising. So there is a big emphasis on relationships. And why this is especially important right now for September 2019 is that we have Neptune, your ruling planet, in your sign, and it is opposing all of these planets that are moving through Virgo, which means they're on the opposite ends of the sky. This energy is clashing, and it's creating a lot of tension. And with Neptune, you know, there's a lot of misunderstanding, deception even. So it can be quite a heavy time. I know as a Virgo, I'm feeling it a lot on my end, so I can imagine you guys are too. And it might be in the ways you're connecting with people or communicating with your partners or close friends. It's not necessarily just romantic relationships with the 7th house. It is also partnerships and people you are working with very closely. So do keep this in mind. But, you know, September is a really interesting month because there's also a lot of positive things that are happening. You know, I actually wasn't even able to get into all of the aspects and transits for September because there's just so many. So the link to the blog post I have in the description box down below, which has all of the dates for these transits and aspects that I'm kind of referencing. I'd usually go more in depth. I didn't for this one because there was just too many, so I gave a brief overview. But the energy overall, it's very stop and go. We have a lot of energy moving us along in a very nice way. There's a lot of new opportunities that are happening for everybody, but with all of these oppositions, and we also have squares that are happening, it's really going to be, it's like we're getting pushed forward, you know, nudged forward, but we're almost being pushed into a wall energetically. So there's a lot of momentum that's moving us forward, yet we are feeling very held back at the same time. It's kind of a frustrating energy, and that's kind of Virgo season as well. Whenever you're working with an earth sign, things can go pretty slow. There's always going to be little trials and little bumps in the road. It's not anything to freak out about, though. It just means that, you know, you're being refined before you go forward, especially in Virgo. It wants to make sure things are just right. However, with all of the planets in Virgo being squared with Jupiter in Sagittarius, there's quite a great deal of, I want to say, excess. You know, we have excessive perfectionism, excessive criticism. This could be coming from you, from your own self-talk, the way you're talking about yourself. But I think for you guys, I almost wonder if it's going to be people around you, people who are making you feel maybe a little imperfect, who are kind of pointing out your flaws, or just putting salt in some wounds you rather not have salt in. It can be a bit of an uncomfortable energy, honestly. And you know, this Virgo season hasn't felt easy by any means. We do have a lot of positive things happening with Saturn and some not so positive things, but also Pluto. So where I'm really seeing all of this is it's going to take perseverance this month to resolve things, to achieve things. But with Pluto there is this nice benefit of if you pass this test, if you persevere, if you can work through this, you will not only be rewarded the thing you want, you will get that and then some. So it's a very transformative energy. It's going to be kind of a transformative month. And of course, the big event for this month, we also have Saturn, not Jupiter, Saturn going direct on the 18th. Again, that is in Capricorn. That's really going to... I feel like for a lot of people, there's been this holding back. There's kind of been this wait since the end of April. If you can kind of think back to then, what you might have been working on, there might have been some sort of delays or some sort of hardship or just doubt that prevented you from going forward. And now that this is going direct, this energy is being brought back outward. You're releasing it from within you. And I do feel like there is this push to go forward, especially on the 18th. Of course, we do have a full moon for Pisces on September 14th, which is actually my birthday. So that's going to be a really powerful time for you to affirm yourself, for you to literally write down positive affirmations for yourself. And I also feel like on those full moons, or even a couple of days after, it's a good time to release things that are no longer serving you. What is holding you back from living the life you want to live? What is holding you back from doing the things you want to do, from relating the way you want to relate? All of that good stuff. It's a great time for release. And especially for you Pisces, it's going to be kind of a time of the year for you to really shed what is inauthentic to you, because it's in your sign, it's in your first house. It is who you are. You are really reclaiming that by letting go of what you aren't. And that could potentially be relationships for some of you. I don't want to freak you out. If you're having a good relationship, I don't think it's just going to be a sudden thing. You'll kind of know. Of course, we will take a look at the cards in just a moment. But I don't want anyone to be afraid. Astrology is just kind of... It's just like a weather report. It's just... If it's going to be rainy outside, you might want an umbrella. Just saying. So... all of that in mind, I think it's a good time now to start the actual tarot reading. Before we begin, I am just going to make my disclaimer that this is a general reading, meaning not all the messages are going to be resonant for you. That is totally fine. It doesn't mean anything went wrong. You are welcome to check out some of the other videos if you know your sun, moon, rising, or Venus signs. If you don't, I have a link down below to draw out your natal chart. You'll just need your birth date and birth time. Some of the energy may also come in the reverse, so another party's energy might be your own energy, or vice versa, especially if you are cross-watching. Keep that in mind. You could be this other person that's showing up. And finally, don't get caught up on the astrology or the gender of the cards. It's just the most concise way that this energy is being translated at this time, especially in a general reading. Now I'm going to start shuffling the deck here. What are the messages for Pisces? Oops. Sorry, I'm just going to connect really quickly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What are the messages for Pisces? Coming into September. So this could be referring to August or even further back. These themes are playing out now. What are the messages for Pisces? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Interesting. We have the Magician, the Ace of Wands, and the Five of Swords coming out together. That's quite interesting. And the Nine of Pentacles. Wow. You all have been really manifesting something, and I feel like you actually had a pretty powerful manifestation last month, or this is referring to a recent manifestation that's kind of coming into the limelight now. I see this with the Magician card. It does feel like you brought something into your life, you manifested something, you made an intention, and it either was given to you or you made it happen. You might have been working with a Gemini or a Virgo closely with something, or it could be pertaining to a relationship. Although in this position, I would interpret this more as someone you spend your day-to-day life with, someone you live with or work with. I do feel like this person helped you achieve something or put something together because you had all of the elements here, and now you are making the magic happen. I do have this Ace of Wands and the Five of Swords showing up in your emotions, which is really, really nice. I feel like with this Ace of Wands, there was just this new beginning, this fresh start. There might have been a passionate love connection, perhaps again with a Virgo or a Gemini. I'm actually pretty drawn to this Hermit card, which is at the bottom of the deck here, which is, again, a Virgo card. So that's very, very interesting. I feel like this new spark, this new connection really helped you sever whatever it was that wasn't serving you, or I want to say whoever it was. This feels more like a person, to be honest. I feel like you really had to let go of an individual, and I think the moment you did that, something new came in, or someone new possibly came in, and I just feel like you're feeling really, really good. Even though there was this severing here, it's pretty, this feels pretty positive overall. I do feel like with this Five of Swords, there could potentially be, I feel like the person you had to sever yourself from, you just were not seeing eye to eye with. There was no winning in this situation, so it wasn't necessarily easy. You kind of just had to walk away from something, and this person could have actually been a little bit deceptive with this Magician card here. It can kind of be someone who's a bit of a con artist, or someone who will just kind of say what you want to hear, and then they don't follow through. So that could be energy you're leaving behind. But I see with this Nine of Pentacles, you really are, I feel like you have a lot of abundance around you, but this is also how you are communicating. This is what you're thinking about. You're thinking long term. I feel like even if there is this new person in your life right now, it's feeling like coming into September, you were really focused on what is sustainable for you. How is this going to work for you? It's not about bending yourself into someone else's life. It's just letting yourself be and giving yourself the space and spreading out. And it feels really, really nice and good. For some of you, this actually could have been a bit of a hermit month. It could have been a hermit time for you. And maybe you just needed to do that in order to spread out. But again, I feel like this energy, it's temporary. It's going back into your shell. It's finding that light. And I do feel like as you're cultivating this, as you're cultivating your Ace of Wands, this is something you are going to be sharing. Not perhaps, if not in September, further down the road. So just keep that in mind. This isn't going to be a forever thing. You're just kind of cultivating your own power right now. You're rebuilding, refocusing, and it feels good. This doesn't feel bad. I am very curious to see what the animal wisdom is for Pisces. What is the animal wisdom for Pisces coming into September? Mouse and eagle. Interesting energy. I feel like this is you really taking the dive into something with this eagle card. This is kind of stepping into the unknown. I feel like For the for the collective, I am connecting with the connective. We have this Nine of Pentacles. I feel like this is not energy you're used to connecting to. This actually kind of scares you. It is kind of bachelor energy. And I know Pisces can be a bit of a hopeless romantic. I'm not teasing you, but you know, it's true. You're very sensitive. You're very dreamy. And you get very caught up in other people. You're very sweet and sensitive a lot of the time. And I feel like it kind of scares you to focus on yourself. It makes you pretty anxious with this mouse energy. I do feel like, though, as you're stepping into this unknown, a good way to work with this energy, instead of allowing yourself to be overcome with anxiety, which is very easy, that does happen in Virgo season, don't freak out. Instead of allowing yourself to be overcome with this energy, using this high mental activity right now into something productive, particularly something creative or some sort of project that requires a kind of detail-oriented or you know, really fine work. I feel like that's going to help you work with this energy. Some of you may have already been doing all of this. I do wonder if there was a bit of travel for you as well. You might have manifested some travel. I am seeing that with the Eagle card, although if that's the case, it doesn't necessarily feel so much like a vacation. Could be for some of you, but it feels more like a time to reconnect to you. And a time to reconnect with your abundance here. There's definitely a hint of luxury for some of you. Interesting. So we're now going to be taking a look at the first part of September, or just the themes for the month. What's kind of being introduced in September? What is the energy being introduced into September? Again, this is a general reading, so time is kind of fluid here. We have Father of Swords that fell out. I did want to say, when I was looking at this energy, looking at the Magician, I do wonder if this is stuff that's kind of been building up since Gemini season, which, you know, if I'm not mistaken, that would have been pretty close to when Saturn was retrograde. I do feel like if you have felt like something hasn't been manifesting that you've been trying to manifest since then, it's coming into fruition pretty hot and fast for September. That delay is going to kind of end or be overcome. What are the messages for Pisces? What are the general energies being introduced for Pisces in September 2019? Show me clearly. Cool. So we have the Father of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Judgment card. Father of Swords, some of you really could be dealing with an air sign. So again, Gemini, could also be Libra or Aquarius here, especially Aquarian energy, or perhaps even a late Capricorn, maybe on the cusp. I do also have, with this Ace of Pentacles, this sense of, it's like you might be wanting to make some sort of commitment, or someone might be wanting to make a commitment to you. Could be romantic, could also be some sort of business or financial thing. I feel like someone is a little bit guarded. And I feel like for you, Pisces, that kind of irritates you a little bit, because you are a very emotional sign. We were just talking about that. And this person's definitely guarding their heart. The Father of Swords isn't someone who's just going to act on a whim. They're very, very strategic. I do feel like this is energy that's around you. But I do actually feel like this person is trying to offer you something. I am just getting the sense, however, that some of you are a little skeptical of this, because you're not, this person seems kind of withdrawn or cut off. I don't feel like it's them withholding anything from you. It's just kind of their own energy. So if someone's making you an offering and you're a little like, not sure about it, I still feel like this is something that has a lot of stability, and it's actually something that would be quite fulfilling for you, showing up in the emotions of this part of the read. You know, this is kind of the heart of the reading here, really. It's a new beginning, new stability, and maybe this is energy that you are trying to embody, and it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels very alien to you. Although I am very tickled. I'm seeing at the bottom of the deck here I had the Son of Cups, and right underneath this is the Ace of Cups. I do feel like there is a romantic offer here for some of you, which isn't surprising. You know, we were saying that Virgo is your 7th house. It is your relationships. But with Neptune kind of opposing things, there is some weird tension here. You're not sure if you're seeing things clearly. You might actually not be seeing things clearly at all. That is possible. So just kind of keep that in mind. With this Judgment card, I do feel like there is something you are being called to do. This is something you are either going to be working on or some sort of connection that you are fostering. This could actually be someone from the past as well. You know, the Judgment card can speak of reviving the dead. Someone from the past could have come into your life or is coming into your life in September to make some sort of offering to you. They might be giving you something to apologize or making some sort of gesture, and you're not feeling it. You're a little skeptical. That is the energy I keep getting. Again, this isn't necessarily in the cards. It's just what I'm feeling from you guys. What is the animal wisdom for Pisces for the first part of September? Show me clearly. Oops. That's too many. Show me clearly. I feel like some of you, I was getting this wave of sadness as I was shuffling here. I feel like some of you might be embodying this Father of Swords energy, and you're being a bit closed off to something new because of some pain from the past. Even though you did sever this, some of you are still, there's still some residual stuff. There's still some healing, even if the cord's been severed or pulled. I still feel like there's a hole in your energy. Some of you might want to do some energy healing or some cord removal and cord healing. It's not just enough to pull cords out. You also have to heal your aura after. Just something to keep in mind. We have the lizard and the zebra coming out for you for the first part of September. Yeah, I definitely feel like lizard, this is kind of interesting energy. You're seeing things from a different angle. Lizard is kind of cold-blooded. It's not necessarily the most, it doesn't feel the most friendly to a lot of people, but lizard is really, really sensitive. And when this card shows up, it's sometimes indicating this feeling of being overstimulated or just having too much happening or too much going on. And I really do feel like there is this travel that is going to be happening for some of you with zebra. And again, this doesn't feel like travel and necessarily a vacation. It feels a lot like getting away or coming in, going inward. It doesn't feel like you're going somewhere. You're going in or inside, and even with your third eye. You know, if you're not physically journeying, there's a lot of mental journeying. You're thinking about the future. You're thinking about where you want to go. But there is this theme of travel, for sure. And I feel like it's really important that you're connected to nature, especially with lizard, because the hustle and bustle of daily life, it might be a bit too much for you. And there is this need to be very expressive, but also be yourself. That's, I think, kind of the balance you still haven't struck with this Father of Swords. You know, I was picking up on this vulnerability, but you're covering it up for some of you, or a person around you. And it's not about you being guarded. You just need to express yourself authentically. And that feels kind of foreign for some of you, to be honest. It's like you've always been what other people wanted you to be, or you have that tendency, And now it's really about you not being afraid to stand out with Zebra here. And I feel like you're getting out of this black and white thinking. You're breaking down old ways of thinking that are no longer serving you. There is some shedding here with Lizard as well. You're shedding a skin. Could also be a person coming in who's helping you do this. I do see some fire energy, you know, with the Lizard and Zebra. It's almost Sagittarian energy, which is also travel, so go figure. Maybe some of you are feeling called to relocate, to go to another part of the country. Maybe that's what this Ace of Pentacles is all about, this new beginning. Where is this new beginning for you? Think about that. Let's see. Where is all of this energy going? At the end of September and beyond, where is all of this energy going? Again, this is a general reading, so this is fluid. Where is this all currently progressing for Pisces? Where is all of this currently progressing for Pisces? Okay. Daughter of Wands. Eight of Pentacles. And the Ten of Swords. Okay. Some of you are definitely going through a spiritual awakening, especially towards the end of September. Could also be Libra season, so even into October or perhaps further on, but I'm feeling like this is definitely some sort of spiritual awakening with the Daughter of Wands. It feels really good. It feels like you have this new energy, this new lease on life. You had this Ace of Wands, and I think in the past, this Ace of Wands has come from other people. I gotta be honest, I'm almost getting a little codependency vibe here. But with this Eight of Pentacles in the heart, you know, where all of this is going, this Ace of Pentacles leading into the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like you're shifting your focus, you're shifting getting love from people into getting love from what you're doing, what you're working on. Some of you could be working on a relationship. That is a possible interpretation of this energy, but I'm really getting the sense that by the end of September, you're really focused on something that will give to you instead of you giving yourself to something else. But you are definitely putting your energy into something, but it gives back to you. I do feel like with this Ten of Swords, there's a real potential here that some of you are going to be cutting some people out. I'm seeing this kind of in the communication part of the future, you know, the mental part. You could just be ending cycles. You could be ending old ways of thinking about things, but something is definitely ending. And I feel like, you know, I was kind of picking up on, even though we had this Five of Swords, you definitely severed some connections in the past. You walked away from some people. There might be someone coming in with this Judgment card in the first part of September, and you might actually be cutting them out. It's not necessarily from this aggressive place, it's just from a place of owning yourself. It's not about revenge, it's not about you know, attacking someone or retaliating. It's just being like, look, this is not serving me. This is what I need to do right now. I need to focus on me. I need to create something, because I feel like you're in the process of creating something, and it can bring you quite a bit of abundance. Interesting. And you know, with all of that oppositional energy that's happening, I do feel like it's a lot of me versus them mentality. And for those of you in relationships, or those of you who are looking to be in a relationship, I really want to introduce this concept of I can have myself and I can have another person. It doesn't need to be one way or the other. You can have both. But it takes work. It's not always easy. Maybe that's the commitment you're in. And maybe there's people around you who just aren't willing to do that. They could be very stubborn. I am getting the sense, though, that there is a fire sign, a new fire sign coming in for some of you, especially with this Daughter of Wands. But I was kind of feeling that with the animal cards in the first part of September. What is the animal wisdom? What is the last bit of animal wisdom for Pisces? Show us clearly. Frog. Yeah, this almost feels like you coming back into who you were. And you know, frog, it does represent healing with the water element. There's definitely some healing and a transformation as well. You know, going from tadpole to frog, I do feel like you're coming into who you really are, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you abandon who you were. Even though frog has legs and it's now amphibious, it still returns to the water that it grew up in. It still returns to the pond. And that could be some of you actually returning home. Maybe that's what that travel is, because it felt pretty internal. It felt like you coming back to connect with you or part of you. Some of you might actually be making a trip home, or be making some sort of trip that helps you get back in touch with yourself, or just doing some sort of process that does that. I do feel like there is definitely some healing you're doing, and it's not always easy. And using the water element can be very, very helpful. So salt baths, being by bodies of water, even steam. I feel like all of that will be very beneficial for you. And it's funny, we have the Hermit again, kind of haunting the bottom of the deck. This really is a time for you to go in and reclaim this light, even if you're in a relationship or not. And this doesn't necessarily mean, even though we do have this Ten of Swords, this doesn't necessarily mean you're cutting people out. It means that you aren't letting people dim your light. There's a distinction there. Those are all the messages I am getting for you right now, Pisces. I do hope that this was helpful. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Comment down below if this resonated with you. Let me know what's going on for you. You can definitely support each other as well. I love that for this tarot community. The people here are really, really nice. Don't be afraid to open up. I promise my comment sections have been really, really great. And, you know, if someone is trying to challenge me now or challenge us, we'll just flag them. I really do feel like this community, though, is quite wonderful and supportive overall. So don't be afraid to open up and, you know, express yourself. Be comfortable expressing who you really are. Don't be afraid of being different, especially if there's your family members who are kind of resisting that. I do have links in the description box for personal readings, Reiki sessions, and donations for those of you who feel called or would like some more personalized assistance. Again, I do have the other videos available on the playlist for this month on my channel, so you're welcome to check those out if this didn't resonate or you'd like further clarity. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, Pisces.